What is going on, everybody? This is Eric with Classic Cards here with the Box Bonanza video. I know some of you have been looking forward to this. It's our baseball card exchange authenticated box from a sealed case, the real one. If you haven't seen the PSA, not PSA video on fake baseball card exchange boxes and people out there faking their authentication, because baseball card exchange is definitely one of the leading authenticators, check that video out. But today we will be opening this 1986 TOPPS baseball card exchange from a sealed case box. We'll be looking for any of the bigger cool cards, big names, kind of under the veil of PSA grading, and take a look at that. See, what the populations are on some of those cards, and maybe some of the values on that. So 1986, it is this design with the top black border. That's why it's so hard to get a high grade Gem Mint 10. It's very tough on these cards. It's a 792 card gigantic set, as TOPPS used to do back in the day. They have a bunch of different, I don't want to call them inserts, but I guess little subsets. The Pete Rose special card, so he starts out at the begins the set, and then cards 2 through 7 are Rose special. There's a turn back the clock set, record breakers, all stars, the glossy all stars, team leaders, managers, and of course the checklists. So we will just get right into it here. As you can see, we have all the packs. Here it is, 1986 TOPPS. This is actually my first time opening up a pack of these, so we'll definitely check out the condition of these, as it is from a sealed case. Got the old gum sticking, of course, to the back card, as always. I don't even know if we will try to fight that today. I think we'll just set those cards off to the side, because you can see they do kind of get a little warped from the gum there, so that's what we'll do there. And we'll kind of go through here, talk about some of the cards, that seem to be sent in more for grading than the usual cards. So some of the top highlighted cards, as you can see, these are pretty good condition. That black border on top, not too bad in some of these cards. So we'll go through here. Bob Melvin, Jamie Easterly, Gary Ward, Mike Brodericker, Brian Snyder, John Russell. So these are going every which way. Dave Johnson, Jim Gatner, Rudy Law, Jerry Harrison, Jeff Barkley, Mitch Webster, and Ron Mathis. So nobody too big in there, but we will be looking out. I'll be setting them aside as we come across them, kind of talking about their populations. Definitely did some research on, especially the 9s and 10s of these seem very hard to get. So again, the gum, we're just gonna set it off to the side. Glenn Hubbard, sorry there, Glenn. Flip it over, we have our promotional card, as always. Spring Fever. So here we go, Tim Tuffle, Butch Wagner, Mark Salas, Thornton Aguayo. There's Bud Black with a high leg kick there. Matt Young, Mark Brown, Dan Spillner, Lance McCullers. That's not a bad one there. And a couple more there. So if we take a look at the cards we've gotten so far, they seem to be in pretty good condition. Some of the corners are a little rounded, but that white border kind of coming off of the black on some of them. Some of them not too bad. So this is from a sealed case. This is baseball card exchange authenticated, as I said. And our gum card here is a Howard Johnson, sticking to Herm Willingham, but there's the Howard Johnson there. The Mets definitely got that gum warp on there, as you can see. Whew, sorry. And let's see, there's our promotional cards. So some of these cards are kind of sticking together a little bit. Looks like this whole pack actually was warped because of the gum. So not too good there, but let's check this out. Ozzie Virgil, and then these leader cards, these team leaders seem to be sent in more often, I'm assuming because they are the white borders. Maybe probably people thinking a little easier to get a better grade on that. Spike Owen. So these team leaders, we got White Sox and Twins in one pack here. Ron Washington, there's Jose Uribe, and 3 team leaders in one pack. So the Reds, Twins, and the White Sox. So if I have any of them down here, we'll take a look at those. See another one on the back here, so we're getting definitely some of the team leaders. This one has a little bit of wax residue on the back, but there's the Giants, and there's our promotional card here. Get that out of the way. Jim Beattie. So there's one, Bert Blyleven. All these Hall of Famers, of course, their cards seem to be sent in more often than normal. So Bert Blyleven, we'll take a look at that. Expos there, that's got to be Andre Dawson. Yep, depicted on the front. As you can see, Andre Dawson, that's not bad. Kirk McCaskill, Mark Davis. There's Mike Schmidt, so that is a good one, and one of the best I think we've seen as far as the black border. Not too bad there. Bruce Bochy, Bob Lillis, Craig Nettles, and I have a couple cards for the gum. Charlie LeBrant, Rob Piccolo, and our gum card is Ray Miller. So it's gums. Oh, that one fell off, but they do, as you can see, it fell off, but it still warped the card. Sorry, Ray Miller. And as far as Mike Schmidt, this one is pretty good. It's card number 200. That one, 564 of these have been sent into PSA, and only 105 have gotten PSA 10. So that's actually not too bad as far as compared to some of them. 243 of them receiving 9. So this one, not bad there, Mike Schmidt. That's pretty cool. Hall of Famer, Bert Blyleven, card number 445. Bert Blyleven, another big player. Let's see if I didn't think I wrote this one down, so not one of the main, big sent-in ones, but still Hall of Famer there. Let's keep this going. 1986 Topps. Barry Bonds and Bo Jackson are in 86 Topps traded, so we won't be seeing any of those guys. Bob Boone takes the gum on this one. And we have flipped around here. Take that card off. Pete O'Brien. Tom Browning. There's a good old John Wathan. Very blurry photo. Kind of missed the print on that with the literal donut on his back. Willie Hernandez, Paul Zuvela, Bob Forsch, Atlee Hamaker, Kevin Bass with the Astros, and we have a checklist. Surprisingly enough, these checklists do get graded decently enough. So some of the checklists are pretty high up there. I didn't write any down as far as the highlights, but I did notice that while looking through. People do send in those checklists, of course. Brian Harper, Tony Phillips, Sean Dunston, and there's a Cecil Fielder with the Blue Jays, so not bad there. Cecil Fielder. Back in the day, Cecil Fielder was definitely a good player. So 176 of these were sent into PSA, if you're wondering. 16 have received a PSA 10. So that's kind of how tough it is on some of these to get a better grade. As I said, those top black borders can be brutal, especially if even you get your good card and it's got the wax on it. That's pretty much it for that card. Ken Landreau taking it here for us. Thank you, Ken. We appreciate that. Flipping this over, we have Max Venable, have our promotional card, as always. Willie Wilson, Ed Vanderberg, Jesse Barfield, Tim Flannery, and I see a good one coming up, and this might be one of the best as far as the corners. It looks like we have that border. There we have Roger Clemens, So Roger Clemens, not a bad one there. Roger Clemens 1986. So let's set that down, take a look at that, go through the end of this stack here. Willie McGee. So Roger Clemens, not a bad one there. If you see the top, pretty decent there. Nice corners. That left corner is very, very sharp. Not too bad as far as centering. A little off center, just a tad. Roger Clemens card number 661. So of course Roger Clemens is going to be another big one. This is one of the bigger ones as far as total population sent into PSA. That's going to be 1,221 of these sent into PSA. Only 84 have received a 10. 387 got a 9. Of course, some there being with some qualifiers on there, but that's one of the big ones that we were looking for. So Roger Clemens, not a bad one there. Put that next to our Cecil and continue on here. 1986 Topps. And we have, of course, our wax card, Mike Scott, sticking to Ernie Riles there. We have our Spring Fever insert, Buddy Bell, Whitey Herzog, manager card there, Denny Gonzalez, Alan Kingsley, Bobby Brown, Randy St. Clair, Jeff Lady, John Candelaria, so not too bad, Doyle Alexander, Joe Ursulak, and there's Mike Scioscia back with the Dodgers, former longtime Angels manager. Another pack, 86 Topps. That's all you'll see here today in this video. And we'll flip these over as always. So each card going back, kind of flipping around. At least we're not flipping, you know, backwards, kind of just up and down. Bobby Cox, John Butcher, Terry Whitefield, and Dan Breeson. Aurelio Lopez, Brian Smith, not Bryn Smith, pretty sure it's Brian. Frank Viola, and Dave Kingman. Unfortunately, Kingman is taking the gum for us there on that card. Only looks slightly warped on this one, as you can see. Dave Kingman, I remember Dave Kingman for a long time. Was the king of strikeouts. But hold up, I was looking on the back here. It's actually Dwight Gooden taking our gum. Unfortunately, Dwight Gooden. So I'd rather have Dave Kingman take our gum. As I was saying, big strikeout guy, but you know, the game's changed and nowadays it's much different. A lot more strikeouts. Dwight Gooden, unfortunately, is taking our gum there. He is another one of the big ones that people do send in. Send in 233 times, 51 10s, 101 9s. So our Dwight Gooden won't be among those, unfortunately, with that gum on there. But we'll search for another one. A lot of cards in this box. One full wax box from a sealed case, authenticated by the Baseball Card Exchange. So it's probably your best chance at getting a high grade card, or at least being confident in that you do have that possibility. So here's another one that's pretty good. Darryl Strawberry, very nice on there. As you can see, Darryl Strawberry, like Dwight Gooden on the Mets, but it is not the gum card. It's a little better quality there. If we look off to the side, our Dwight Gooden, or our Darryl Strawberry population here is going to be 236, it looks like. Sent in total, 236 Darryl Strawberries, and 65 of them being 10s, 107 of them being 9s. And right after that, new Hall of Fame member Harold Baines. So card number 755 there, Harold Baines. That's another one people send in. So we're getting some in this pack. Pete Rose again. This is Pete Rose's main card in the set, number 1. Unfortunately, off, center on the back there. This card is a big one in the set. Number 1, sent in 1,100 times, so 1,107 of these, graded by PSA. Only 75 10s. Only 75 10s. So ours off center on the back. Our right corner, for some reason, is a little rounded there already, so not going to be one of those. There's 366 9s, but that's one that we would look out for. Bruce Benedict taking the gum there, so sorry, Bruce. Candy Maldonado. Here's another Pete Rose card, one of the Pete Rose specials. Like I said, cards 2 through 5, and this is card number 5. All those Pete Rose specials do get sent in a lot. I'm assuming again here because white borders here. Have a little print dot right there. But this one is the 75 through 78 specials. So sent in 158 times, 63 of those have 10s. Pretty cool there. And finishing off that pack, we have a Dave Stewart. So this was pretty hot pack as far as PSA candidates. Not, you know, these cards specifically, but the cards of the player. So Dave Stewart. I mean, you could see the wax residue on that because Dave Stewart was on the top. Unfortunately here, Dave Stewart, let's see. If we look at the numbers for Dave Stewart, of course, up for the Hall of Fame, card number 689. I don't think I wrote that one down, but he's still a decent one there, Dave Stewart. So let's take a look at some of the ones we got here. Sleeve them up. We'll put these leaders cards into their own stacks and have that off to the side. Show off some of the cards that we have gotten. Maybe some of the PSA candidates, some of the not so PSA candidates. And here we go. Put that right in there. Oh, it looks like these are... What happened there? Some extra giant sleeves fell into my normal sleeve pile. So we're going to need some extra sleeves, but that Harold Baines, Darryl Strawberry's not too bad there. So we got some Hall of Famers on the board. Some PSA candidates and maybe some not so PSA candidates, but some still cool cards here. So put those off there, put them here. These are some of the big ones. So Roger Clemens, Pete Rose. Also got Mike Schmidt. And let's continue on here. 1986. And here we go. So this video might be so long, I might need to do it in 2 parts. We'll see. I wanted to get a good look at the cards, go through them, you know, pretty slowly, just because we're looking at the condition too of these. It is baseball card exchange authenticated. So Charlie LeBrant, Rob Piccolo again, sticking to Ray Miller. That one got destroyed, as you can see there on that gum. Craig Nettles again. So some duplicates in this pack. Bruce Bochy. Definitely a duplicate pack here. Ron Gardenhire. There's Frank Tanana with the Tigers. Here we have a Dodgers leaders card there. So getting some leaders. And Eric Davis. All you Eric Davis fans. Next pack here. Gonna clear the corners. And we'll take off our Lance Parrish here. Gum card. Always sticking. Lance Parrish. Sorry there, Lance. Take off our promotional and get right back into it. Julio Cruz. George Wright. Jay Howell. And Eddie Milner again. Mike Jeffcoat with the bright blue background there. Here's one, George Brett. So that's a good player right there. Not the best top border that we've seen, but still good centering on most of these cards here. on the back as well. So card number 300, George Brett, Brian Downing, the Angels, and here's another Pete Rose card, one of the Pete Rose specials, the 63 through 66. So these highlight, of course, Pete Rose cards. You can see 63 through 66. We got George Brett, that one not too bad there. If we look at George Brett, because I know I got George Brett on the list, there's 327 population total for this, 35 10s. 35 10s on the George Brett, so pretty tough there. And the next pack, Dave Van Gordon is going to take the gum for us. We'll take that. Have our promotional, and here we go. Ozzie Smith, nice one. Again, not the best top border we've seen there, but still a good one. A potential if you're looking for PSA candidates. As well as Dave Concepcion on the Reds, back with the big red machine. Mike Jones, Dave Sachs, not Steve Sachs. Gary Matthews Sr., another checklist here. So this is 397 to 528. Haven't gotten that one. Joe Necro, not Phil Necro, and Lee Lacy. So not too bad there. Like I said, Dave Concepcion and the Ozzie Smith, like the George Brett, are sent in more than the average card, obviously. So let's take a look and see if we can see what we have for the Wizard. Ozzie Smith, 112 of these have been submitted. 21 10s, 52 9s. And going to the Dave Concepcion, 84 of these, 44 10s, 32 9s. So not too bad on the Concepcions. Not too many out there that aren't 9s or 10s, which is interesting. Always like looking at the numbers there. Lance Parrish again taking the gum for us. So Lance Parrish is putting in some time for the team there. Thank you, Lance. And here we go. So we have a Julio Cruz, George Wright, Jay Howell, John Franco with the Reds, Mark Brohard, Eddie Milner, Ron Kittle, back in the day. Ron Kittle is a chase. Mariners leaders card, cool. Always good to get a leaders card. And nobody special there. Still going in our box here, going through these packs. We have Mike Pagliarulo. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, Mike. Taking the gum there. So if there wasn't gum in these packs, every card obviously would be a little better. You know, as far as the condition. I think just all the cards take some of the brunt of the gum. I'm not sure what it is, but they're definitely old cards. Maybe it's just the stock that they used. You can see some of these cards coming out of the BBCE box dinged, but you know, it's 1986, so I wasn't there for the case, you know, to be right next to this case from 86 until 2019. So that's basically what you're gonna get, you know, definitely. Again, taking it for us, back-to-back packs. Mike, thank you. There we go, another one, Bert Blyleven. So that's our second Bert Blyleven. Not too bad there. I'll put it on our first one. I think our first one looks a little better as far as the top black border. There's Expos leaders again with Andre Dawson. So you might get a couple shots at some of the cards here, like Mike Schmidt again. So this one, pretty good as far as the centering, the top corners as well. I mean, like I said, the 10 is just going to be very, very, very hard. And Johnny Ray, almost out of reach on some of these, but you know, it's happened, so you can do it. Gary Gaetti, finishing off this pack. Chet Lemon again. Tim Wallach. So not too bad there. Still looking for some of the other ones that we haven't seen yet. One of the most sent in cards as far as the population, if not the most, is the Nolan Ryan card. That being having a population of 2,143 on that Nolan Ryan. Only 94 10s. So quite hard for the Nolan. There's Danny Cox. There's Phil Necro. We saw Joe Necro. There's Phil Necro. Hall of Famer. Kind of a tough border on that one. Phil Necro, card number 790. And if we look at that, there's 75 population, 17 10s. Obviously ours is not one, but there's Phil Necro, Wally Backman, Yvonne Calderon, Matt Young, Dan Spillner, young Lance McCullers, Dave Engel, Bert Roberge, Marty Castillo, and Max Venable. So it looks like we're kind of halfway in the box, maybe something like that. Maybe a little less. Still going on, still having fun. Mike Smithson. So still opening a lot of old packs in 1986. Checking out all the big players. There's Jimmy Key. Looking at, you know, some of the populations here, PSA. And here's some good ones. Dave Righetti, some Yankees. Don Mattingly. So Don Mattingly is a good one there. Card number 180. Don Mattingly. That is another big one that people send in. It's probably a $150 card in PSA 10. Something like that. 882 of these have been sent in. 163 10s. So we got some off center on the back. Not the best top black border that we've gotten. Ozzie Guillen, not too bad. And a Ricky Henderson. Unfortunately, our Ricky has got some black paint issues there, or black ink issues. Card number 500, Ricky Henderson. That is also a good one, and something that's probably around $200, $230, maybe PSA 10. Population of 490. As far as the 10s, there's only 59. So some good ones there. And another checklist further along in the set, 661, rounding out the set, 792. George Frazier, Dan Petrie, Don Sutton, that's a good one. And we have our Blue Jays leaders. Look at that, Blue Jays leaders. Pretty good there. You can see it says depicted on front. That's Jim Clancy. Okay. And like I said, Don Sutton, not a bad one. Not the best surface on that. So put that off to the side. Still more 1986 Topps. Baseball cards. Again, this is the basic base flagship regular issue Topps, not the traded. So no Bo Jackson, no Barry Bonds. There's Rob Deere, and Mark Bailey's got the gum for us on this one. Tim Laudner, Rick Lysander, Steve Garvey, not too bad there. Ron Davis, Bob Baylor, Britt Burns, Storm Davis, love that name. Junior Ortiz, Mike Krukow, and Sid Bream with the Pirates. So not too bad on that pack, but we are still going. Still looking for at least one of those Nolan Ryans, right? That'd be nice to get. We got one of the Pete Rose card number 1s, so that's pretty good. Vance Law taking the gum for us. And we'll flip it around, get that promotional card out of the way. Here's another Phil Necro. About the same on the cut there and the same on the border. Not bad though. Wally Backman. And we have Mike Jeffco. There's a George Brett again. Let's see George Brett. Like we said, we saw him earlier. This is one that people send in a lot. Ours is a little off center from top to bottom. Haven't seen that too much. Looks like more common to have a left to right off centering. And the 63 to 66 Rose again, our second one of that one. Not bad there. These don't look too hard to grade. I mean, white borders, you know, if it's pretty sharp there, shouldn't be too bad there. Surface is all good, no staining. In our next pack, we have Roger Craig on the back. Leon Derman is taking the gum, and this is the worst one that we've seen yet. So look at that. That one went right through it. Even to poor Rick Mahler there. Got a little bow to it. Sorry, guys. And continuing on with the pack, Rick Rhoden, Tippy Martinez, Terry Harper. There's Paul Molitor, so got a Hall of Famer there. Like I said, Hall of Famers people send in card 267, so we'll try to check that one out. Jerry Don Gleaton. Here's a Roger Clemens again, so that's pretty good. The other one is a little better condition. Top not so bad, not so good on the borders there. The centering is, you know, probably about the same as the other one that we found. Ken Phelps, Willie McGee, so Roger Craig. So, you know, on these cards, you're fighting the centering, you're fighting the borders, you're fighting the sharp corners, you're fighting the gum. So a lot of issues, of course, with these, and that's why 1986 seems to be a tougher one to grade. But like we said, Paul Molitor, not too bad there. People do send this one in 164 times, it looks like, 50 tens. So that is definitely another one there. Got a couple good good players, not so good as far as our cards and, you know, their condition. Some of them being good, so gonna hit and miss on some of them, not gonna get perfect on all of them. Of course, can never expect that. If there was a lot of 10s, there'd be a lot more 10s in population. And we got a Cal Ripken, so there's Lee Smith, but here's the Cal Ripken Junior that we were looking at. So not too bad here. That one looks pretty decent. Centering looks good. Back centering hurts us on that one, but there's Cal Ripken. Like I said, a ton of people submit that one. Let's see, if we go to Cal Ripken, 1,123, and there's only 206 tens, 544 nines, so not too bad on that one though. Lee Smith, Frank White, Rick Langford, John Shelby, Ken Howell, and here's another Pete Rose special card. This one's 71 to 74, so I haven't seen that one yet. That's pretty cool. We got 3 different kinds of those so far. Pete Rose and Vince Coleman. So Lee Smith, not too bad. Of course, Hall of Famer Lee Smith, card 355. Let's see if this is one of the ones that people send in more often than not. I'm guessing, you know, more than the average card. But doesn't look like I wrote down the population numbers there. Of course, Lee Smith, good player. Put that next to our other ones there. We put Dave Stewart and Lee Smith together, so I'd say some honorable mentions. Here we go, Doug Corbett or Corbet, and our promotional. So what sucks about these these gum cards, it's so hard to stack. I don't want to take off the gum, but you can't stack it. I mean, look at this. It's a mess. We have a mess going on here. Young Andy Van Slyke, of course. Andy Van Slyke, 86 Andy Van Slyke. Alan Bannister, Terry Pendleton, Milt Thompson, Bob Jones rocking some shades there in this picture. I feel like that's what I would do. They grab me to take a picture, throw something on. Something funny. Bobby Gritch. And another pack. Surprise. So we have here, yikes, Leon again, taking the brunt of the damage with our gum there. Sorry, Lee, it is a pretty old gum. There's Sparky Anderson. This is one of the cards that some people send in more often than not. Interestingly enough, that manager card, Sparky Anderson. There's Rick Rhoden, Tippy Martinez. We have Terry Harper and another Paul Molitor, so we'll throw that down. We've got 2 Paul Molitors so far. And an A's leader behind Dwight Evans. A's leader, Rick Gutierrez, or Jackie Gutierrez. Young Ron Renicky. And nothing too special. And in that pack, another pack here from 1986 all the way back in 1986. Tough black borders. Like I said, Gary Carter, sorry, tough on the gum. Always, varies depending on what, what environment the box or case was stored in. So young Mark Langston there. Gorman Thomas, I always like his dashes. Rod Carew again. Greg Gross, Joe Crowley. So sometimes the whole pack seems to be warped. This is the second time we've been seeing it. This pack kind of got warped on these cards here. Brian Smith again, as you can see. The cards, because of that gum in that whole pack, all these cards are slightly warped. But like I said, condition is everything, so you never know. Never know what happened to that pack. Maybe that pack got a little moisture. See some kind of like this. See that there, so that's not good. Good for the 10s. Gary Carter again taking our gum. Sorry, Gary. And here we have Willie Randolph, Enos, Steve Trout, no relation to the Big Fish, Jorge Bell, and Dusty Baker, young Dusty with the A's. Danny Darwin again. We see even Rod Carew. I think that's our third time seeing that one. Let's try a pack from a different stack here. The top right pack stack seems to be maybe our worst stack, but you can see this one a little warped as well. So that's what you're gonna get. Kurt Gibson. Here's a good one. Unfortunately, it got our gum all over our Kurt Gibson. Take out the promotional card, and here we go. Roger McDowell, Gary Maddox, Howard Johnson, Make Me Hungry, Moose Haas, another leader, Twins leader. This one has Mickey Hatcher. Mickey Hatcher's been a coach for a while, I know. Ron Washington, speaking of coaches, and Reds leaders. Nice Dave Concepcion on there. I bet that's another one that's submitted pretty often. Another pack, getting down to it now. Still no Nolan Ryan, unfortunately. Still looking for Nolan Ryan. Ron Smalley with our gum there. And the Orel flip. Take the promotional card. We have Don Slott, Chris Chambliss, Phil Gardner, and Tony Gwynn. So there we go, Tony Gwynn. This is another good one. Unfortunately, our right corner not too good on the Tony there. Tony Gwynn, this is card number 10. It's another big one. 442 total population. 104 are 10s. 161 9s. Pretty awesome Tony Gwynn right there. Cecil Cooper, Mike Young, Jerry Kuzman, and Tim Hume. So we're getting a big stack of Topps cards from 86 here. Seeing all the designs. Hope we can see at least most of the entire set, although it is a 792 card set. Seeing a lot of duplicates though. Randy O'Neal taking our gum. And going through. So the only bad thing is you do have to flip back and forth. It's kind of a pain, but that's what you're going to get back in 86 Topps. At least it's not a, upper deck issue, like back and forth, upside down. And we got the Nolan Ryan. So there's the Nolan Ryan. This one, like I said, probably the most populated card as far as PSA in the set. 2,143 sent in. Only 94 total PSA 10s. So Nolan Ryan there, look at our right corner is suffering a bit. Got a dinged right corner. As far as the centering, it's pretty dang good though, so sucks on that, but we will keep trucking along. That's one that we were looking for though, Nolan Ryan. Of course, Nolan Ryan. Definitely a star player back in the day. So awesome to get that card, better than not finding it at all. Rick Manning with the gum on that one. looks like we have another Pete Rose special card coming up. So we have Dave Rozema. Here's a Dale Murphy. This one's not too bad. Card number 600. Dale Murphy, of course. One of the ones that are also sent in more often than not. 107 total graded cards there. 45 10s. And here we go. Pete Rose, 79 to 82 again. Actually, we haven't seen this one, so that's pretty good. This is the 6th card, so there's one more after that. Jack Morris, that one is sent in pretty well. Hall of Famer Jack Morris. Double Pete Rose special we could see here, and here is the 75-78. We have seen that one. Pretty awesome. Pete Rose special. So Billy Martin. Definitely some of the ones we were looking to show you guys. There's Dave Stewart. And looking like maybe 2 stacks left in each corner. Something like that. Almost done here on our 1986 Topps Baseball Card Exchange authenticated box. Again, this was a box from a sealed case. That means it was witnessed come out from the sealed case by Steve Hart and them over at Baseball Card Exchange. And so it has the from a sealed case seal on there, and also inscription that is FASC from a sealed case. Frank Tanana and Dodgers leaders here. That one looks like, who's that? Mickey Hatcher, Bill Russell, okay. Greg Gagne. So let's grab our final packs of the box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 final packs. You do also get those bonus cards if you like to cut out the cards. So we got some pretty good ones. Dale Murphy, Brett Saberhagen, Pete Rose, and Fernando Valenzuela. On the bottom, as you can see, they got that red border, kind of box, you know, not box toppers, but box bottom exclusives, pretty much. So 6 packs left. We'll rip these open, go through kind of a recap of everything we got. Some of the bigger cards, of course, the bigger ones. As far as the population report, here's a very badly cut Gary Renicky there. Got the gum. That gum fell off. Another checklist. So we've seen that one before. Same one. End of the set. Jimmy Key again. And here's a Padres leaders. There's Terry Kennedy. Padres leaders. Jim Morrison. Tom Brookins. Tony Bernazard. George Frazier, Dan Petrie, back with the Tigers. Don Sutton again. Blue Jays leader again. And Rick Langford. So 5 packs to go. Almost done here. Ron Oyster taking our gum there. And we have Tigers leaders. That's a good one. I mean, like I said, all these leaders cards are pretty popular as far as PSA send-ins. And our first turn back the clock. So there it is, Tom Seaver. This is a good one, showing off his 1976 Topps card. So first turn back the clock. These are also sent in more than, you know, the average base card. Obviously, you can see they're a little harder to find. Definitely harder than these Pete Roses to find. We've seen a bunch of Pete Roses and only one of those turn back the clocks. At least in our box here. Vince Coleman, Donnie Scott. And continuing on, last 4 packs. Clearing the corners of every pack. Don't want to do any damage from us to these cards because a lot of damage has already been done. There's Rick Manning taking the gum there. Dave Rozema. There's another Dale Murphy. Not too bad there. Dale Murphy. Another Pete Rose. 79 to 82 again. Jack Morris. That's a good one again. George Hendrick. Nate Snell. Greg Gerber. Donnie Hill. Doug Sisk. Doug Sisk was a good player at the Mets there. And Darryl Miller. Final 3 packs. Maybe the 3rd time's a charm here. Last 3 packs. Maybe will be our best pack so far. You never know. Best to hope. There's Gary taking the gum again, so definitely similar players taking the gum every time. Kind of must be TOPPS Coalition or something like that. Sammy Stewart, Terry Kennedy. See another Padres leader there. I think that was Terry Kennedy again. So Earl Weaver, and here's a first All-Star card that we've seen in our third pack. John Tudor's the NL All-Stars. So like I said, there's a couple, you know, inserts, I guess, although they are the base set kind of subsets. So that was cool. We got to see at least one of those. Very good, very good. Got the checklist as well. The All-Stars, team leaders, of course. I don't know why I'm trying to take off the gum at this point. Jack Clark, sorry Jack. And we have Orel Hershiser. So there we go, Orel Hershiser, that's a good one. Young Orel. Not too bad on the centering there. This one being another one that's sent in. I took note of this one because there's only 69 sent in, but only 6 10s. So the population on 10s not too good. Our top order here not deep, not the best. So Larry Parrish, Donnie Moore, tragic story with Donnie. Continuing on. Here, Bob Nepper, Lou Whitaker, Gino Petrelli, Terry Pohl. Some old names here, of course. 86, Greg Pryor, Mario Soto. And we're down to our last pack, final pack. So maybe last pack mojo here. Thank you guys all for watching this 1986 TOPPS Baseball Card Exchange Authenticated from a sealed case wax box. Checking out the old design, checking out all these cards, wax and all, promotional cards and all. So here we go, final pack. Ozzie Virgil, Dan Ford, Chris Chambliss. There's Don Slott with the Rangers, Phil Gardner, Eric Davis on the Reds, Ron Kittle again. There's a Mariners team card with Dave Henderson on the back. You can see, not bad there. White borders better than the black. So Frank Williams, Pascal Perez. And we finish off, our final card is a Jerry Reed with a nice mustache there. So here is all of our cards that we could recap here. Got obviously a lot of these promotional cards. We did see a couple of the checklists here. Like I said, people do send in checklists, and these aren't too bad. So a couple checklists there. We saw one of the All-Star cards and one of the Turn Back the Clocks. Like I said, these are still, part of the base set, so they're in the 792 card set. Turn Back the Clock and All-Star cards there, not too bad. Tom Seaver being one of those. A big chunk of these leader cards, like I said, white borders, a little easier than the black. These do get sent in. More often than not. White Sox, Mariners, Padres, Tigers, Blue Jays, Padres again, Dodgers, Reds, Twins, A's, again Blue Jays, Giants, Expos, Mariners again, Dodgers again, Reds again, and a bunch of duplicates. So we saw a lot of those leaders cards, more than I was expecting. And then we got, let's see, we have those Pete Rose special cards. So we saw a bunch of those. I ran out of penny sleeves, reticent for at my availability here were the right size, but I'll be putting all of these ones straight into sleeves, and we'll be you'll be maybe seeing them later in some live streams, hopefully, if I can get that going. So here's Pete Rose. Love these Pete Rose special cards. Again, cards number 2 through 7, and of course we did see Pete Rose card number 1, so we'll get all this extraneous cardboard junk that we've gotten on the table from opening all these packs. And there it is, Pete Rose card number 1. Not too good on the back centering. Front's not too bad. We did get the two of the Roger Clemens, so that's pretty cool there. 2 Roger Clemens, young Clemens. Nice, you can see it's second year, 85 rookie, of course. Cal Ripken also being a big one. And then if we go through all of these here, I'll just stack them up. Why not? Like I said, the black border super tough. So this being from a sealed case, we still did good, but you know, it's nothing like I would expect a PSA 10 would be. So I'll have to look at some of the 86 10s and what they look like. But we got Harold Baines, Darryl Strawberry, Cecil Fielder, a couple of Bert Blylevens, Mike Schmitz, a couple of Mike Schmitz, a couple of George Bretts, Ozzie Smith, a couple of Phil Necros, Orel Hershiser again, Jack Morris. There's a Dale Murphy, a couple of those, and we did get the Nolan Ryan, so that was a big one we were looking for. Got a Tony Gwynn, got a Paul Malter, got the Don Mattingly, so that's a big one there. I love Don Mattingly, Tony Gwynn, Nolan Ryan. There's a Ricky Henderson, big one, double Paul, another George Brett, and a big red machine, Dave Concepcion, as well as a couple I set to the side here, Lee Smith, Dave Stewart. So pretty sweet on that that box. Again, 86 Topps. Here's what it looks like here. This one, the box obviously looks pretty pristine because it came out of a sealed case. But being so many years, you know, a lot of stuff can happen. But our cards are in pretty good condition. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Love to hear your shout outs on your favorite cards and players back on this time period. As we got, you know, some of the bigger ones we were looking for. If I kind of look over my list to the side, I'm not sure that we, you know, necessarily missed any of that, any of the big ones. Maybe a Kirby Puckett. I don't remember seeing Kirby Puckett. But pretty much we got all other ones, all the ones that are sent in, you know, more often than not. We did kind of center our video today around the PSA populations of these. But, you know, we also just looking at the design, going through some cards, going through some 1986 packs, some that are guaranteed not to have been searched through. So I'm sure at the time we've got a lot of, you know, chances to go to spring training and stuff like that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. As always, keep collecting, care for the cards, care for each other. It's a Cardmunity, and we'll catch you next time here with Classic Cards.